Alright, everybody, welcome back to Major Gaming, and today I'm going to be going over my Dead by Daylight map tier list as of October 23rd, 2025. Recently, Behavior has made it a point that they want to listen to feedback on the palette density changes and everything that happened recently, and I figured now would be a great time to do a map tier list. So yeah, we're gonna be going through that. For anyone who doesn't know, I like to do my tier list a little differently. I have very specific guidelines for each tier. It's not just arbitrary S, A, B, C, D. My for this tier list, I'll be doing pretty balanced, survivor sided, killer sided, salvageable, and rework needed. I'll explain salvageable. Salvageable is essentially, regardless of whether it's survivor sided or killer sided, it needs more than like basic tweaks, but it doesn't also need a full rework either. It's salvageable. That's pretty much what that means. All right, so getting into it, we're gonna start off with the Macmillan Estate realm. First up, I dropped my phone. My beat. I'm going to put that there. Alright. Sorry about that. Getting on to the tier list here. We're going to start off with Cold Tower. This one, I'm going to put at the survivor sided, but it's mainly just because of the new palette density changes that have affected like this whole realm. It's not too bad, but it does have more palettes than it needs to be pretty balanced. I think if they reduce the palettes a little bit, it'll go up to pretty balanced. But like I said, just too many palettes in this realm in general. It didn't really need it. Macmillan Estate has always been either pretty balanced or survivor sided, so adding more palettes doesn't bode well for any of these maps. But of all the survivor sided maps, is one of the least survivor sided, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's very close to being pretty balanced. What I would suggest changing with this map is making the sides of the map less safe and the middle a little more safe. Essentially, like, this map has the big main building that's strong, that's pretty strong, and then down the sides of the map there are a bunch of strong tiles that connect to each other, but then in the middle there's just like a little bit of a dead zone and then like a weaker weak, I don't even want to say a weak loop, but a weaker loop. So, and then on the other side of the map, opposite the main building, is Killer Shack. So I think Killer Shack is in a good spot. It's just the sides of the map need to be a little less safe, and then put like a stronger loop in the middle of the map that's a little more safe. Maybe add some more line of sight blockers for stealth killers, but overall, like I said, this map just needs the palettes reduced that they added for no reason. That's pretty much all this map needs. And then the few suggestions that I just said. Now we have Groaning Storehouse. This one is definitely a lot more survivor sided than Cold Tower right now. Again, it got hit with the palette density changes, and on top of that, I'd say it was survivor sided even before that. The main building is pretty strong, and then there are like these two areas in between Killer Shack that are like two really strong loops connected to each other in two different spots. So, what I would suggest with this map is, for one, reduce the size, make it a little smaller. Take those two areas next to Killer Shack on the left and right of Killer Shack that go far back, and that's usually around where the exit gates spawn sometimes. Just take those areas and move them closer into the main building and Killer Shack, and maybe like reduce the safeness of those loops to be a little smaller and less, connecty. And then I think this map would be fine. Go back to the way the palettes were before. reduce the size a little bit. And then one thing that pisses me off about this map consistently is there's a window in main building. Now, I'm not talking about the one next to the breakable door. I'm talking about the other window next to the pallet, usually on the other side of the building away from the breakable door window. It is so annoying as an M1 killer to go against. That window is kind of cracked. I would highly suggest moving that window or getting rid of it and putting something else there. Maybe another pallet on the outside of the building or another loop instead of the window, because fuck that window and everything it stands for. I hate that fucking window so much. It is so annoying. So, reduce the size, reduce the safeness of those pallets that are, I mean, not pallets, the loops, the high wall brick loops that are on the outskirts of the map. Reduce those safe loops. Reduce the size and get rid of that fucking window, because fuck that window. And I think this map would be pretty perfect. It would be balanced very well. It's very close to being there. Just bring it in a little bit. Ironworks of Misery. This one would have been pretty balanced if it wasn't for the pallet density changes. I think just reducing the pallets that they added, especially around that main building and everything, because this map was pretty good. And then, honestly, I think it would go back to pretty balanced. I think this map needed very little changes. I don't know why they added more pallets, but it was not a good idea. This map was perfectly fine the way it was before and needs the pallet changes reverted, at least mostly. You know, maybe add an extra pallet or two somewhere on the map, but not as many as they did. It's just ridiculous. But yeah. So, a former pretty balanced map. This one, I forget exactly which one the name of this one. I know it's a Skull Merchant map, but I can't, for the life of me, I can't remember what the actual name of it was. I think this one is actually pretty balanced now. Like, I think it was a little tiny bit killer sided before, not really, but like a little bit. And then now with a little bit more pallets, it's not. I think it's pretty balanced. It was one of the smaller Macmillan maps, and it's nothing too crazy. One change I would highly suggest for this map, though, is cutting up the fences. I hate long fences in this game. It's so boring to deal with. And then this map has a couple long fences, so I would highly suggest cutting up those fences a little bit and adding more doors or doorways in the fences to make things a little less annoying to go around. I hate having to go around shit. So yeah, like it like more straightforward paths through things would be great for this game, and this map has those long fences. One thing I do really like about this map is the fact that it has something different and like about it with the Skull Merchant stuff. And I think more Macmillan Estate maps could use something like this, like Cold Tower specifically could use like, I don't know, like something that has to do with a killer, like just something, just anything. Honestly, like if they took like Cold Tower and that was the Walking Dead map and they added some Walking Dead stuff to Cold Tower, I feel like that would have been a lot better than creating Fallen Refuge, which we'll get to later. I feel like that would have been a lot better. Or, I don't know, maybe something with Houndmaster, you know? Maybe, or something along, maybe not on this map, but definitely like something with an original killer that they could add to this map, to these maps, to make it a little more interesting, as in like eye-catching and fun, you know? Not really a balanced decision, more of just a fun decision, you know? Because these maps have always been kind of boring to me. It's just kind of a building and then basic woods. So, like, it'd be nice if they added some more, like, interesting stuff to the maps. Like, Or maybe they could come up with something completely original and throw it on these maps and make it a bit more interesting. I feel like that'd be cool, especially with Cold Tower. But yeah, so moving on. This one. Now, for the life of me, I can't remember the name of this one. But fuck this map. This is rework needed, 100%. I believe what this map is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on this. This is the map where you have the really strong middle with like the safest loops imaginable, all connected right in the middle of the map. And then you have two sides where you could end up like 4-gen on either side. Any map like that, there's going to be another one coming up. Any map like that needs a rework or just remove it, honestly. Those maps are not fun. Because as Killer, all you could do is 3-gen or 4-gen. That's all you can do. And then as Survivor, like, you have to worry about the 3-gens and 4-gens so much, because if you don't, you're fucked. And then, like, when you're Killer in the middle of these maps, especially an M1 Killer, it is miserable, fucking miserable to play on this map. If you're, like, an M1 Killer and you're trying to work around the middle loops, fucking awful. Okay, you have to 3-gen, and you can't go in the middle part or you're fucked. This map plays like dog shit. It needs to be completely reworked. Yeah, just complete rework. Fuck this map. It's not rework or remove it, because it's not fucking worth it. Yeah, I definitely just, like I said, don't make it a 3-gen or lose map. Fucking fix the middle part and make it less safe, while also, you know, spreading the generators out a little bit more. Maybe reduce the size of this map, because yeah, fuck this map. It's stupid. It's really stupid game design. I hate this map. Alright, now we're on to Auto Haven, and we have Wrecker's Yard, which I'm going to put, now, I'll be perfectly honest, I have not been able to play on this map since the pallet density changes, but considering it was pretty balanced before, and they added more pallets to it, I'm going to put it in Survivor sided, but it's going to be down here, like on the lower end of it. It might be pretty balanced. I'm not entirely sure. Unfortunately, it's not one of the boosted maps that they got going on right now, which I hate that, by the way. Please stop boosting maps. Let it be random. Yeah, adding pallets to this map was not necessary. I'd say it was pretty balanced before. Like I said, it's one of those maps where there's just Killer Shack in the middle and a bunch of strong loops around it. Of all the maps like that, this one is probably the only one that was like not killer sided. So yeah, I'm gonna put this in Survivor sided, but it's barely survive. Like, I'd say just reduce the pallet density changes and it'll be fine. Just pretty much bring it back to what it was before, because there was no reason to add more pallets to this map. Now, granted, it could have been barely affected by it, like some maps, like Ormond Lake Mine wasn't really affected. So, you know what? Until I actually play on it, I'm going to put it on pretty balanced, because I thought this map was actually fine before. Oh, wait. Alright, we're going to skip around a little bit. This isn't Wrecker's Yard. My bad. This one is the... Okay. This one's Wrecker's Yard. So, everything I just said applied to this one. This is Wrecker's Yard. This one that I thought I was talking about... Yeah, no, this one is the other fucking rework needed one, where it's 3-gen or lose. Yeah, rework this one. I forget which one this one's called exactly, but this is the 4-gen or lose map. And again, every criticism I had for this map, apply it to this one, rework this shit, do something completely different, because this is not okay. This is not good game design. This is not fun for either side. This is miserable. Fucking rework these, please. Yeah. Now we have Blood Lodge. Blood Lodge is definitely Survivor-sided, especially now with the pallet density changes. Yeah, I'd say this is one map that needs to be made smaller. Make the map smaller, and you'd probably get rid of the dead zones, remove the pallet density stuff from it, the extra pallets. Yeah, and just make it smaller, and I feel like it could be very good. But yeah. And also, if you can, try to figure out something more interesting to put on the map than a lodge in the middle, and that's it. I feel like this map is very boring, along with a lot of the other older maps that don't have anything really interesting about them. Gas Haven, definitely survivor sided now. 100. It was survivor sided before, and then they added more pallets. So one good thing they did change when they did the pallet density update was remove that breakable door in the gas station. Thank God that did not need to be there. But other than that, yeah, they kind of fucked this map. So yeah, survivor sided. Definitely remove the pallets, and it might go back to more balanced, but it could also be made a little bit smaller, possible. But it definitely wouldn't be as bad if you didn't add a bunch of fucking pallets to it when it didn't need it. Yeah. Remove pallets and keep the breakable door being gone. This one. Fuck if I can't remember. I think this one's Azeroth's resting place. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's this one. This one. I'm going to put him pretty balanced, honestly. Because it's really not that bad, but it's just the pallet density update. They added more pallets to it. So, just remove the fucking pallets, bro. Like, why'd you have to ruin all these maps? Just fucking... It's pretty balanced. Just it's on the lower end of that because of the pallets, but come on, man. Come on. Just remove the fucking pallets already. Alright, now we're getting into Coldwind Farm. This map, the barn, cowshed. This one is now survivor-sided, but it would have been in pretty balance before. The problem with this now is that all the loops connect together too much and is too strong because of all the new pallets and shit. And they added stronger tiles to Coldwind, so it would have been fine if they didn't add more pallets, but it was pretty balanced before, I thought, or at least barely killer sided. Yeah. So yeah, that one's survivor sided now, but it can easily be fixed with minor tweaks. Rancid Abattoir, I'm gonna put in pretty balanced, and it's probably gonna. This one was killer sided before the pallet density update, but they added a little more pallets, so this one's not too bad. This is one of the few maps that actually that needed that change. I don't know why they did so many. It's fucking dumb. Like, there's no need to do every fucking just the one or two that needed it. Same thing with Rotten Fields. Rotten Fields, I'm still gonna have killer sided, because they did add more pallets, but it's not anything crazy. Like, they added a bunch of unsafe pallets, so it's still pretty see, this one is fine, but what I would say about this one is maybe add maybe a couple safer pallets. I don't know. I think this one's okay to be, because it's barely killer sided. It's just that there's these huge dead zones in the fucking field, and I don't know how you would fix that problem without I like the idea of it being a big field because that's something interesting and unique to Coldwind Farm, but you gotta put a little bit more of something in there. So I'd still say it's killer sided, but it's very close to being pretty balanced, as far as I can tell. Thompson House, I'm gonna put in pretty balanced, right? But it needs the pallet density changes to be moved to the middle field area of the map and not next to main building. That's where you just gotta move them. You don't even have to remove it, just move them into the middle and not right next to main building, please. Just move them over. That's pretty much, and then I'd say it'd be pretty balanced. I think it was pretty balanced before, honestly, but I think adding a couple unsafe loops is okay. Just just like move them into the actual dead zone. Like, I don't know how you, like, we're removing dead zones. You didn't remove dead zones. You just made stronger areas stronger and kept the dead zone. It's so, like, how do you fuck that up? I don't know. But yeah, it's in pretty balanced, but it could be a little survivor sided. It needs to be changed up a little. Torment Creek, survivor sided, definitely. I'm gonna put it like right here. Torment Creek, they just put too many more pallets around main building again. Like, that's literally, they didn't get rid of the dead zones. They just put them around main building and made main building stronger when it was already the strongest part of the map. Like, just move the pallets into the actual dead zones and then make the map a little bit smaller so that it's a little more reasonable, and then you'd have a pretty balanced map. Like, I don't get how this is, like, minor changes, people. Just make small changes. Add a couple unsafe loops in the dead zones just to make it a little, and then make it smaller, and you're good. Okay? Like, it's nothing too crazy. Alright. Oh, fuck. Yep. Disturbed Ward. I'm not gonna say rework needed. I'm going to say survivor-sided, and they're going to be at the top of survivor-side, and they're not going to move, pretty much. Yeah, they fucked these maps. They were already survivor-sided before, and then they just fucked them with pallets. Like, they just fucking unloaded a huge load of pallets onto these fucking maps for no reason. You got 2v8 tiles on these maps in 1v4. What the fuck? Like, what the actual fuck? Like, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. They did make Asylum a little smaller, but it doesn't matter because now every fucking map is filled with fucking pallets. So yeah. That's yeah. What I would suggest is keep the size change for Asylum and then reduce the pallets. And then consider making Father Campbell's Chapel smaller too and reduce the pallets. Because both of them are, some of the strongest Survivor maps in the game. So can we please nerf them for Survivor and not buff them? Please, thank you. Now, Haddonfield. This one actually is going to go up to the top of pretty balanced. The palette, this is one of the few maps that actually needed the palette density update and actually, deserved it and actually made it's a pretty balanced map now. One thing I would suggest is add more line of sight blockers in the road area of the map in the middle. That way maybe you could cross the street without being seen from across the map. But other than that, I'd say this map is at a pretty good spot. I'd say maybe like I thought it'd be cool to add in like an 18-wheeler, just like kind of like in the road, and then make it so that you can go in the 18-wheeler and maybe put a vault in the 18-wheeler, so it's like a loop you go in, and it's like that map on the Autohaven, that loop on the Autohaven Wreckers map where it's like a truck and then there's like a thing on the back of it, and like you could go up and there's like the ladder that goes like this, and then there's like this big thing and you go down and you jump the window, like something like that, but with like an 18-wheeler that's really tall. That way you can block some line of sight for stealth killers and survivors trying to cross the road without being seen from the buildings on either side. Like, that'd be nice. There's just a lot of line of sight in that middle area. But other than that, this map is pretty balanced now. Oh, Swamp. Yeah, fuck these maps. Fuck them both. I hate these maps, honestly. They're ugly. They need to fucking have their shit reworked, their look reworked to look better. Because they look like PS2 maps. Like old Dead by Daylight, and they're the only ones that look like this, and it's such a fucking eyesore. They need to be fucking given their visual updates already. And then, yeah, and then the fucking everything about these maps I pretty much hate. I hate the difference in elevation. I hate the pier. I hate the main buildings. Like, in like the log loops, fuck the log loops and everything they fuck. Whoever created those log loops can go die. Not really, but you know what I mean, okay? They can get fucked because fuck those log loops. I hate them so much. They are way too safe. What are you doing as an M1 killer without bamboozle against those fucking log loops? Nothing. You are doing literally nothing. There was nothing you could do against those fucking log loops. You can't mind game them because the survivor could see you over the log. It's 2 windows, so you have to just run around and hope that those windows get blocked, spending like a minute waiting for both windows to get blocked, or at least one of them. And then even then, if the log loop fucking spawns next to Killer Shack or the boat or the main building, it's an infinite. It's essentially a fucking infinite, bro. Like, it pretty much is. I went against the survivor on the log loop with Billy. Oh my god. And the log loop spawned right next to Killer Shack. So we just go around the log loop, loop the window, and then loop the window of the log loop, and then the window to Shack was right there, so we just go over the Shack window, run around Shack, over. It was literally an infinite. And I was hillbilly. I couldn't do anything. I actually could do nothing. So yeah, fuck the log loops. If you're gonna do those log loops, turn the windows into pallets. You want to do the 2 pallet shit? You want to have 2 pallets right next to each other like that? Change the log loops to that. Okay, fuck the log loops. And then you have the difference in elevation, which is so weird and jarring considering it's the only map that has this. It's so weird. And it fucks over artists more and other killers. I don't like it. The pier right now with the pallet density updates is cracked as all hell. It's already a very confusing loop. I don't like it. I don't know why they designed these maps to have like maze tiles around the pier and the main building of Grim Pantry, but fuck them. Yeah, so now pier is broken, and then on Grim Pantry you have this main building that has always been broken. It's always been so fucking annoying because you go upstairs and then there's that window that spawns on one side that literally, like, it's just a window, so you just go around 3 times, and if you're an M1 killer, you can't do anything about this window. You literally can't, because you can't go around because the survivor makes too much distance, so you have to just vault the window and follow them 3 times in order to... That's horrible gameplay. Fuck these maps, okay? And then the bottom of Grim Pantry is a fucking maze filled with pallets. You can't see shit. You can't see jack shit, okay? So what, like, you're going around a corner and you don't, if you don't have the map memorized like I do, you're just stunned because you didn't know there was a fucking pallet in this maze of bullshit, okay? And then, God forbid, you get a down there and the basement's not there, because then you gotta get out of the maze in order to hook someone. Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck this whole Grim Pantry main building. It is awful. It needs a complete fucking rework. The hook placements on this map, god awful. Add more hooks, make the map smaller, fucking Pale Rose, make it smaller, I don't care. But the hook placements on these maps, awful. Okay, the fucking grass. It's good for Trapper and like trap killers, but or Chucky. But like, fuck the it's this map. These maps are awful, awful. They need complete reworks. Fucking go back to the drawing board. I fucking hate the swamp maps. I'm not sorry about it, okay? And then you have, as Survivor, you got like major dead zones everywhere that didn't even get fixed with the pallet density update. So it's just like, what the fuck are they doing with these maps? Like, what the actual fuck? These maps are awful. Like, actually awful. Rework them, please. Larry's. I'm gonna put in salvageable. Now, this is a Survivor-sided map. It's pretty good for stealth killers, but there's just too many fucking windows on this map, bro. Remove some of the windows. Rework some, make it less maze-like. I hate maze maps. I get it, like, the indoor maps are always going to be a little mazy, but, like, just get rid of some of the windows. Reduce, some of the strong loops and get rid of some of the windows so they're not as annoying. And then it'll be fine. That's why it's in salvageable right now. It's survivor sided, but it needs more than just slight changes, or like it needs like big removals of windows and stuff like that. That's why it's unsalvageable. It almost needs a rework, but it can be fixed by just removing some of the safe windows and maybe putting pallets instead or something. Like it's just too many windows. And then it's very hard for range killers like Houndmaster on this map. Fuck that shit. Okay, trying to aim that shit. There's too much clutter, too much shit to get stuck on. It just, it just needs some love. Like, it's just, yeah, that's why it's insalvageable and not survivor sided. It's a little, it needs some more drastic changes that'll, but not a full rework, I don't think. Mother's Dwelling and Temple of Purgation. Mother's Dwelling is gonna go in survivor sided, but it's gonna go right here. That map is just like what the fuck? Okay, sorry. Fucking big ass ad just popped up. So yeah, Mother's Dwelling. It's just too big, and there's too many pallets around main building now, so just again, pallet density update, remove some of the pallets around main building and or make them, unsafe, and then make the map smaller again, a little bit smaller, and it should be pretty balanced after that. Temple of Purgation, I'm actually going to put in pretty balanced, but it's going to be like down here. It's not bad. It's a little big, but overall it's not too bad. It's pretty balanced. Even with the pallet density update, it wasn't too bad for this map. There are some things like having a double pallet loop next to Killer Shack that's not okay, but overall, like, you can work with Temple of Purgation. It's not too bad. Yeah. So, yeah. Batum. The only map I hate more than swamp maps. Fuck Batum and everything it stands for. This map has needed a full rework for years, and they've done nothing to it, and I don't know why. It's huge. It has 3 main buildings, essentially, and it's just fucking ridiculous. Like, the fucking preschool loop with that fence in front of the preschool that you can just is nearly a fucking infinite. Yeah, that shit needs to go. That needs to be changed. I don't put a pallet there instead of a window. That way I can break the fucking pallet and put it on. Like, I'd rather you put a pallet there where that fence vault is than a fucking window. Honestly, like, just make it so I could get rid of that fucking vault, because that shit is fucking ridiculous. And then there's the size of the map, again, ridiculous. And then you have a building near main building, and then you have another building in the back, and then Killer Shack, bro. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. It's so hard to guard gens on this map. It's the loops are strong as fuck. It just reduce the size, get rid of at least one of the main buildings that you put in there. And then and then fix that fucking loop in front of the preschool, please. Fuck this map. Always fuck this map. At least they got rid of the other 4 versions of this map, where some of them were actually kind of fucking worse. But yeah, it wasn't enough. Like, this map needs fucking to be fixed, made smaller, remove buildings, fucking all that shit. Okay, let's actually balance this map, please. The game rework needed, but it's gonna go under swamp. This one needs a fucking rework. There's too many god palettes, and it's so fucking boring. Like, killer sided, survivor sided, I don't give a fuck. It's just so fucking boring, bro. yeah, this one needs pretty much a full rework. The pallets need to be changed to be less safe. And then if you want, like, I would make some of the like, the problem is with the game, right? Upstairs, all of the loops are like waist level, so there's no mind gaming really, other than like, but and even the taller ones, you can see literally right through them. So there's no mind gaming on this map. There's none. Like on the top part, there's no mind games because every loop you can both see each other. So like there's no mind games needed. Like you're just running around until the pallet gets dropped, and it's a god pallet, so you have to kick it. It's so boring upstairs. Upstairs is awful. You need to add more maps, more loops with like high walls that you can't see through. That way there's some sort of a mind game that you can do and not just run around in circle until pallet gets dropped. Please, let's please do that. And then make some of the god pallets a little less safe. That would be great. But yeah, definitely more higher walls upstairs, and then downstairs just get rid of some of these god pallets because they're fucking ridiculous. Like literally, like every 2 seconds you're getting hit with a fucking a pallet that you literally just have to kick. You have to kick it. There's nothing else you can do, and that's so boring and so dumb. I like the fact that when you complete gens, doors open up. I do really like that about this map. I think that's fun and unique, and I appreciate that part of it. But other than that, there's just way too many fucking pallets, and it's way too safe of pallets. I do worry that if they remove the god pallets, it could become a little killer sided. But honestly, considering there's barely any killer sided maps in this game, I wouldn't mind that too much. You know, like it's like killer sided maps, like slightly like it'd be a little killer sided maybe, but yeah, no, game needs a huge rework. It needs mind game ability and not just run around until pallet gets dropped. All right, Yamaoka State. These ones they got kind of fucked with the pallet density update. Family residence. Definitely in the survivor sided category. I'm gonna put it here because actually no, I'm gonna put it here because it got hit with a lot of filler pallets and it's pretty big. So yeah, it's kind of fucked right now. I'd say remove the filler pallets that were added and make the map smaller. That would be nice. The map doesn't need to be as big as it is. And then Sanctum of Wrath, I'm gonna put in pretty balanced. Luckily the Actually, I'm gonna put it here. Luckily, the pallet density update, it's salvageable. Like you can, like what they did was they added a bunch of like really unsafe pallets around the main building, which those are fine, you know. But the other pallets that were added that make it too safe, like those need to go. But if they do that, then the map could end up being like pretty balanced. I think that would really just after that, don't touch it. Don't touch it. But yeah, like I said, family residence, just remove those filler pallets and make it smaller, please. That would be nice. Ormond. Ormond Lake Mine barely got touched by the pallet density update, thank God, because honestly, this is probably one of the best balanced maps in the game, and one of the best maps in the game. This map, they cooked. I give them full credit on this map. I love this map. This is one of my favorites. Actually, it might just be my favorite. I love this map. Ormond Resort is going to be put in survivor sided, but it can be fixed. It's just a little too big, and they added too many pallets to it now. There's just like there's 4 pallets that can spawn around Killer Shack. So just remove those extra pallets and then make the map a little bit smaller, just a little bit smaller, and I think it'd be fine. Remove the extra pallets around Killer Shack. There are some areas where it's okay, but around Killer Shack, no. There's no. You can't have too many pallets around Killer Shack. That should just be the rule. Like, you don't put more than 1 or 2 extra pallets around Killer Shack. That should just be the thing. And then other than that, the map is a little big. It could be made smaller, and it probably wouldn't, cause too much of a problem. Um, and then other than that, maybe more line of sight blockers would be nice for stealth killers, because you can see people from pretty far away on this map. So just more line of sight blockers, like high wall things, that'd be pretty nice. You add more mind games to things, but yeah, other than that, it's not horrible, but it is definitely survivor sided. Hawkins. I'm gonna put Hawkins in salvageable. I think the biggest problem with Hawkins is just the fact that so many rooms don't have like proper doors that you could just walk through, and that is very annoying. Please add more doors to Hawkins. Like, those rooms, they shouldn't have just like dead ends in them, and then you shouldn't have to go around a whole room just to get across. Like, if you're going straight and then there's just a room there, you can't go through the room because there's no door, and you have to go all the way around. That's very annoying. Like, yeah. So, it's going to be insalvageable. I don't know if it's survivor or killer sided, but they just need to add more open doors. Please. Make it less of a maze. And then if you could, I mean, it would also probably be a good idea, that room, the portal room, where there's that gen up there that you can only get. It'd be nice if they added another way to get up there. That would be kind of nice, like another stairwell closer to the gen. That would be pretty cool. But other than that, yeah, it's not horrible. I like how unique the map is. The map is very unique and has a lot of cool, interesting loops. So I like that about the map, and it has like that third floor thing, which is pretty cool. But it's too maze like, too much of a maze. And yeah, that needs to be fixed up a little bit. Dead Dog, I didn't put him pretty balanced. It was surprisingly they didn't hit Dead Dog with the pallet density update, which is nice. So I'm gonna actually put Dead Dog about here. My biggest annoyance with Dead Dog is just the overwhelming amount of fucking breakable doors you have to kick to make the map more playable. I wish some of them were removed. But other than that, I think the map is pretty good, in a good spot. Midwich. One of the few killer-sided maps that I think is actually like pretty okay. It didn't get hit with the pallet density update. I think this is like one of the few killer-sided maps where I'm actually like, it's not too bad. You can play it as Survivor. It's just a little bit harder. But it's not horrible. You can definitely get out. I think this map is in a pretty good spot, even though it is killer-sided. I don't really know what else they could do other than make it a little bit bigger. One thing I do wish they'd do is if they could put a stairwell in the middle of the map to get upstairs. That would be great. Honestly, I think that would help out a lot. Just like a stairwell that goes up on one of the sides in the middle. Like, that way you can actually, like, go up through the middle part. That'd be nice. But other than that, I think the maps are pretty good. I mean, the map is pretty good. It's just a little bit killer-sided. I'll admit that. RPD, East and West. Now, I don't know. I think this one's East and this one's West. These, I'm gonna put in pretty balanced, but they're gonna be like here. I think West is a little bit better than East. I know that might surprise some people. Some people might think it's a little too survivor-sided. I don't think it's survivor-sided. I think what the problem is just that it's so static and so easy. If you get this map, you run it the same pretty much every time. So it can be a little boring. I kind of wish there was a little more variety in differences with the map where it spawns. I wish it was a little less static. where the pallets spawn. I feel like that'd be nice, but other than that, I think the map is alright. I don't have too many issues with it. It's not too big. It's not too maze-like. You know, it does have that little bit of a maze effect, but it's not too bad. Um, you know, it's just a little static and it gets a little boring. And I think the east one is a little bit more mazy than the west one, which is why I don't like it as much. But again, I think RPD is okay. I think they're in a decent spot. I think it's just too predictable at this point. It needs a little bit more RNG, which I'm not usually a big fan of RNG, but I think RPD of all maps kind of needs a little bit more RNG. But yeah, I think our RPD is pretty okay. Eerie of Crows. You know, it's pretty crazy how Eerie of Crows, like, has dropped into survivor-sidedness a little bit. I'd still say it's pretty survivor-sided, but it's no longer the bane of everyone's existence, which is kind of cool. But I'm gonna put it like, honestly, I'm gonna put it like here. Actually, I'm gonna put it like there. It's survivor-sided. Don't get me wrong, but it's not as bad as it was. You know. They made some good changes to it. I haven't played on it in a while, honestly, but like I think maybe it could just still be made a little bit smaller, just like a teensy bit smaller, or maybe just make some of the loops a little less safe instead. Then I think the map would be fine. It's not like horribly survivor-sided anymore. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's just still a little big and it's still a little too safe, you know? But it's not too bad compared to what it was before. It'd also be nice if they added some grass to it for Trapper, but you know. Alright. There's this Dead Sands. I put this one in Killer Sided, but it's like one of the lesser Killer Sided maps. Of the Killer Sided maps. It's another one of those shack ones where it's just a shack in the middle and a bunch of loops around it. But I think this one, you know, honestly, like it's Killer Sided. I'm gonna put it in. It's pretty balanced. I'll keep it in Killer Sided. It's all right. It can stay in there. It's not too bad. It's just a shack, so you don't have like a main building that's like really strong to protect you. Is essentially the problem. But I wouldn't change much about this map. I think it's okay. Maybe make it a little more safe. I don't know. Even then, I think it's alright. It's like Midwich. I don't really see like a bunch you could do with it. It's just one of those maps. But it's not like super frustrating as Survivor. It's just you're at a little bit of a disadvantage. Garden of Joy. It's crazy how like Garden of Joy has lost. It's not. Again, it's like Area Crows where it just hasn't been as annoying as like the new maps with the palette density changes, but it's still up there. Definitely make it smaller. I don't know why it's still as big as it is, and then just make some of the loops a little safer. Make some of the filler palettes a little less safe. They're very safe. I think that would help out a lot. Just make some of the filler palettes a little less safe, and maybe like that run where you have Killer Shack and you just go straight and there's just a line of super safe loops up until the parking lot loop. Move Killer Shack. Honestly, that might be the best thing you could do for this map for Garden of Joy. Take Killer Shack and instead of having it in that back corner, move it over to one of the other corners. You know, I feel like that would be a lot better. Like, move it, like, literally where it is, just move it to the adjacent corner, straight forward. I feel like that would help out a lot. That way it's not just... And then put, like, a slightly unsafer loop, like a rock loop or a low wall loop or something, just where Killer Shack used to be, and then put Killer Shack in the corner opposite of where it is now. And then you that side will be a little less rough to deal with as Killer. And then the map might be a little... And then what I would do is make that gen in the main building next to the window less safe, the one upstairs. I would put that in the hallway instead of the room. That way the survivor at least has to pre-run a little bit more to get to the window, and it's not just right next to the window, so you run up there and then you just lose them because they jumped out the window, and then there's not really a good way to get to them. So I would just move that gen upstairs to the hallway instead of that room, for Garden of Joy. Now we have Withered Isle. Withered Isle is not too bad, except for its size. Even then, like, I'm gonna put it... You know, this might be a crazy take, but it actually, I think, is pretty balanced. Withered Isle. Actually, I think I'll... This might be a crazy take, right? Because, yeah, it's big, but they somehow made the big map work with it being... Like, a lot of the gens are more in the middle, so, like, those big ends aren't... You don't have to go there as much. Most of the action is in the middle. So they actually kind of took a big map and made it work by not spreading everything out so far, you know? Like, you just have the one gen on each side that's a little out of the way, and then most of them are in that middle area. And then it's skinny, you know? It's long and skinny. Pause. So, like, you don't have to worry about, like, the square formation. It's just a rectangle, so you're just kind of going back and forth. So it's not that bad, honestly. Like, the pallets aren't super safe. You can work around them. So, like, I'd say Withered Isle is honestly pretty balanced. Like, I don't have too many issues with this map. Like honestly, it's okay. It's just, it kind of spawned this idea of add filler pallets everywhere, which isn't the greatest idea because the other maps weren't made for that. They just weren't. Like, the Asylum map wasn't made for that. This map was, and they actually did it okay. But the other maps, no, they're too square. It needs, like, a rectangle shape, you know? That's my take on it, anyway. Freddy Fazbear's. This one, I'm actually going to put in pretty balanced, too. I think actually this one is more balanced than Dead Dog. I actually don't mind this map at all. I like this map. It's pretty good. It's pretty basic. It's just a small square with a good main building, and there's nothing crazy about it. I'd say it's a pretty nice, balanced map. I like this map. I think this was a very good map. They kind of cooked on that one. Fallen Refuge. Fuck this map. The only reason why it's not higher on the rework needed is because technically it's not... It's gonna go on the bottom because balance-wise, the map isn't too bad. It really isn't. Like, it's another one of those Killer Shack with a bunch of loops around it. It's kind of killer-sided in that way because it has some of the weakest loops out of all of them. But then, it's just the fact this map needs a visual rework so bad. Okay? It's a Walking Dead map with just a Walking Dead tile on it. And then the rest is like family picnic time. I hate it so much because... And they have like little bits of barbed wire fencing around the map. And I hate it so much. It's so dumb. Bro, you would have been better off just not making it a map. Okay, I get it. Like, it's not horrible gameplay-wise, but it is a little unsafe. And then the fact that, like, it just screams laziness. It screams it. It's so depressing to be on. Because you want that Walking Dead map, and you're getting some Walking Dead features on a fucking picnic map. Okay? I fucking hate it. I hate it so much. Like, make it more apocalyptic, please. If you're not gonna add, like, Walking Dead specific stuff to it, just make original apocalyptic shit. Like, put some cars. Like, put a pile of a car, like, two cars that crashed into each other. Something. Like, some police cars, like, I don't know, like a road. Put a highway next to it or something. Like, just to make it more apocalyptic and, like, barren feeling. Because right now it feels like you're trapped in a picnic ground. And then there's just, like, this weird hospital thing. You know? Like, please, like, either add more Walking Dead references or just make the map more apocalyptic looking. Don't just put a filter on it and be like, ooh, please. They didn't even put, like, zombies walking around the edge of the map. Like they have in RPD. They have zombies on the edges of the building. Put some zombies on the edges of the map, groaning and shit. There's something to just make it feel more apocalyptic, bro. Please. So yeah, if it wasn't for that fact, it would be in Killer Sided, like around there. But for the fact that it's like abysmal in the theme it's going for, it needs a rework, a visual rework more than anything, but still. Alright, we're getting to the end here. What the fuck is this? Go away. Thank you. Anyway. So now we got Borgo. We got Shattered Square. Definitely Survivor sided. They overcooked on this map with the pallet density updates. If they didn't go so overboard, it probably would have been in pretty balance. But they went way overboard with this map, bro. There's a safe pallet like every 2 feet. Like 95% of the map is just safe pallets at this point. It's awful. It's almost as bad as them, and they just need to reduce the pallets a little bit. But yeah, it's pretty fucking bad right now with the pallets. But other than that, like the map itself is fine. It's just they flooded it with pallets. They just fucking and pallets everywhere. Like it's awful. So like, can we please fix that? Forgotten Ruins. I'm going to put this one in salvageable, actually. I like the idea behind this map. I just don't think they did it as well as they could have. I think what this map needs is some portal placement changes. Honestly, I kind of wonder what it would be like if they made the portals 2-way portals instead of 1-way. I feel like that could be kind of fun. That way, like, there's more ways for the killer to, like, go between floors easier that, like, make more sense and are less out of the way if you have the portals going 2 ways. Because then there's, like, more openings upstairs to go downstairs and vice versa. And then the survivors could use that as a way to, like, connect more loops so that the map feels bigger but isn't actually bigger. It just feels bigger because you could go between the floors super easily. I feel like they can make... I would suggest doing 2-way portals instead of 1-way and seeing what happens. I feel like that would be kind of cool. Toba Landing. I'm going to put in Survivor Sided. I'm going to put that right there. Actually, I'm going to put it above Ormond. It's not too bad, but I think I think this one needs a reduction of high walls. There's just so many high wall loops. I feel like that some of them could be brought down to some of the waist level loops. Other than that, I think the map is alright. Honestly, now that I think about it more, compared to some of these other ones, Toba's not too bad. I'm actually going to put it near the back of Pretty Balanced. Put it like right there. Like I said, it just needs some of the high walls to be reduced down to like waist level walls. I think it would be okay. And I just make some of the loops a little more unsafe. And I think that map would be pretty perfect, honestly. I don't think it's too bad. I actually don't mind the size of the map. The size of the map's not too bad. It's just the overall safeness of the loops and how all of them are super high wall loops is kind of annoying. And now, last one. Nostromo. Definitely survivor-sided. But how survivor-sided? And put it here. I think you can work with it as killer, but it's just too big. It's just a little too big, and I think that the loops, again, too many high wall loops, not enough, like, waist level loops that you can, work with. I feel like if they kind of made some of the loops a little less safe and maybe reduce the size a little bit, it would be okay. It just needs a slight size reduction and maybe looking at some of the loops to make them a little less safe, and I think it'd be fine. But it's just a little too survivor-sided because of how big it is. So yeah, that's it. That's my list. I'm probably a lot more forgiving on maps than a lot of people. I feel like a lot more people would have more of these maps in like survivor-sided. But overall, I'd say these maps are pretty balanced. Not perfect. I think the only one near perfect is Lake Mine. Honestly, I love Lake Mine, but and maybe Haddonfield now, maybe nah. I don't know, but I like these are solid maps that I could play on and not have too many issues. A lot of these maps are just fucked over by the new palette density changes, and in all reality, they'd be more up here if it wasn't for that. There's barely any killer-sided maps. It's mainly just Midwich and then the two maps that are killer shacks. These ones just need some harder tweaks than just size reduction or whatever, but they can be fixed, I think. These ones just need fucking reworks, all of them. These are miserable maps to play on for the most part. Yeah, they need reworks. But yeah, alright, so that'll be it. Look out for my next couple videos, and everyone, have a good day.